Okay, so thank you all for finding time to join for this session. This is our third meeting, and we are discussing how to see God. I'll share my screen. So, does anyone remember what was the topic of the first meeting which we had discussed? Little bit of 2 minutes revision we'll do so that if somebody has not joined. Okay, before that, let me ask, how many of you have joined for the first time in this forum? You can raise hands, or you can put something on the chat, or you can speak on the mic. Okay, so everyone has attended 1 or 2 sessions earlier. How many of you have attended both the sessions in the previous Sundays? Wow, that is great to know that all of you have been there. Okay, that's great then. So what was the first topic of Discover Yourself? Can somebody remind me? What is a crucial aspect of this universe which we learned in the first topic? Anyone on the chat, on the mic? I request your participation so that we can have an interactive and we can discuss things, we can have a fruitful conversation, because in this topic also which we are going to discuss today, a lot of interaction has to happen. So let us warm up. Okay, Manohar, and I see Galaxy 9s Plus, Chandrasekhar, Praful. Anyone of you want to speak? If you do not remember, it is okay to say no. We don't remember, or that is okay. But at least I need a response so that I know that somebody is there out listening to me. I can wait. Chandrasekhar, are you there? Hello. Okay, Manohar, are you there, Manohar? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, great. Praful has also replied on the chat.
Yeah, we are here.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for confirming. I thought there is no one there. Everyone is.
Oh
Yeah,
no, I'm here.
even I thought.
Okay,
Okay,
so
we are
Manohar,
here.
thank you, Manohar and Praful. Do you remember what was the first topic of Discover Yourself? What did we
First topic
discuss?
was that whether the universe was created, some creator is there or it is made automatically.
Okay, thanks. The topic was, does God exist?
Yeah.
Yes, thanks. Thank you, Manohar, for your response. Okay. There was one verse which we had discussed in the last week. Okay, that verse is that summarizes the entire the two discussions which we've had in the previous weeks. This one verse of Bhagavad Gita summarizes everything together in a capsule. Anyone remembers what was that verse, or not exactly the verse? If you don't remember the verse, that's okay to say the number or the context of the verse. What was there in the verse? Anyone? Praful or Manohar, Chandrasekhar? There is a there is somebody logged in as OK. The name is OK, and the name is Galaxy 9s Plus.
That was the God is everywhere, just
Mhm.
like a necklace, thread in the necklace.
Yes, amazing. Thank you very much. I'm very glad to hear that, Manohar.
Thank
Yes, the pearl necklace verse.
Yeah.
The very beautiful verse from Bhagavad Gita, 7th chapter, 7th verse. Mattah
Seven chapter.
Partaram, yes, 7.7. Mattah paratam nanyat kinchidasti dhananjaya. Great. So that was the tagline is, I had also sent that picture on the group. The unseen is proven by a seen, right? That was the heading. Okay, thank you. So I would request participation like this, because today is a very interactive session. A lot of questions I'm going to ask you, and only if you reply, then we can have a good discussion. Otherwise, it will become very monotonous, and you will not enjoy the discussion. Okay, so we are discussing in the first uh, topic we discussed, does God exist? Okay, in the last Sunday we had discussed how to see God, and in that how to see God, we had discussed this scenario where six blind men, they are trying to understand how does an elephant look like. Okay, so this was a scenario, and we did not, and everybody is experiencing something as per their previous experience, and they are deriving some information, touching at various places in the on the elephant's body, but they have not been able to derive to a conclusion. Okay, and we moved ahead from there, that how in this world, uh, how do we gain knowledge? Okay, what are the ways of gaining knowledge in this world? So there are three categories: pratyaksh praman, anuman praman, and shabda praman. Okay, pratyaksh praman means direct sense perception. Aksha means eyes, prati means in front. So whatever is in front of eyes, that means whatever I see, I derive knowledge from that, right? We see colors, we see objects, we see shapes, we see living beings, we see buildings, and whenever we see whatever we see, we derive knowledge out of that, right? And in this case, pratyaksha means other senses also. In the aksha, other senses are also included in this particular um, topic, pratyaksha praman. So whatever I perceive from my senses, I gain knowledge out of it. That is pratyaksha praman. We had discussed a little bit on this, and then we'll move ahead from there. Anuman praman is, I speculate, I do some guesswork, and on the basis of the guesswork, I derive knowledge. Okay, that is called anuman praman. And third is called shabda praman. It means I hear from somebody who knows the subject. Okay, if I want to understand physics, I want to understand metallurgy, I want to understand medical science, biology, I approach a person who knows it, he gives me knowledge, and I learn. So any kind of knowledge gathering which happens in this world, these they can be put into these three categories. Okay, so what we are going to do today in this session is understand what are these three categories, how do we gain knowledge in these three categories, and whether these three ways of gaining knowledge is perfect. Okay, because perfect in this world. So when when I'm trying to gain knowledge about this world, uh, do these three ways give me perfect knowledge? And if yes, then how to use that particular way to gain knowledge about God? Okay, that is how we are going to progress in this session. If you have any questions in between, please feel free to interrupt. We'll use the chat box. Sometimes in the flow of speaking, I may not be able to focus on the chat box. Okay, so feel free to unmute yourself, speak in the mic, and and we'll hear you out. Okay, so we had discussed this a little bit. Pratyaksh praman, direct sense perception. This is something like seeing is believing. People say seeing is believing. What you see, you believe, right? But that may not be always true. We had taken some examples for that, so I'll skip those examples. Mm. And I would request you to say, I don't know, one or two examples that things you see but you do not believe. Anyone on the group? Anyone? Anything you see but you don't believe? Okay, I'll give an example. I had given this example last time also. Yes, anyone is there? Somebody's
Sir, it is Mirage.
Hmm. Eyes is
Sharad.
looking very big.
I'm sorry.
Eyes are looking big.
Eyes.
His eyes are not looking yeah, exactly the same size or something like that.
Yes.
Because
In the
through glass we are seeing, na?
yes, yes, yes.
Hmm.
In the middle
Bigger eyes.
picture, yeah, the
Yes.
the person who is using the magnifying glass, his eyes are looking very
Magnifying glass.
big, but we know that this
Uh,
his eyes are not so big. Yes, very good example
big.
from the slide. Thank you. So
Welcome.
our senses, right? When we try to gain knowledge from our senses, it is there is a problem. Our senses have four problems. Our senses are defective. Okay, before that, what are our senses? Which are the senses we are referring to right now here? We have five knowledge acquiring senses. Okay, we have eyes, we have ears, we have nose, we have tongue, and we have skin. Okay, these are the five senses every one of us has got. And right now, what we are seeing is in these slides that our senses are defective. Okay, what are the defects in our senses? First of all, they are imperfect. Okay, they do not give me full information. I'll tell you how. Okay, then because they are imperfect, they get illusioned. Our senses get illusioned, and then when we get illusioned, we commit mistakes. And when we commit mistakes, we want to hide them, and we try to cheat people by hiding our mistakes. So that is called cheating propensity.
Sitting properly.
Okay, yeah, so we'll go ahead, and we had seen this slide. Okay, our eyes are unable to see the color spectrum outside of the seven colors, right? Beyond red, beyond violet, in this spectrum, our eyes cannot see. In this world, whatever is there, our eyes cannot see fully. That means our eyes are defective. I cannot rely on my eyes to gain perfect knowledge of this world. We are not talking about God yet. We are talking about the knowledge in this world, of about this world. Okay. Similarly, ears are deaf outside the range of these frequencies, 20 hertz to 20 kilohertz. There are ultrasonic whistles which are used to train the dogs. Okay. And the dog trainers blow the whistle, but they themselves do not hear the whistle. Human beings do not hear that whistle, but dogs can hear. And I had given you the example of cock who can this is the bird which can see the sun rising even before the sun is has come on the horizon, because it can see the ultraviolet rays. So these are the examples of eyes and ears. Similarly, you may think of other examples in which our tongue or skin or nose are imperfect. Uh, can somebody give me an example of other senses other than eyes or ears, nose, tongue, and skin? How they do not give me full information?
Dog. In case of dog,
Yes,
they can smell 2,500 times better than us.
yes, yes. Very right.
Man, dog.
Thank you. It's a very good example. Dogs can sniff, and that's why we use dogs in the these the police and the military. The guys, they use dogs for detecting these um, things. In on the airport, there are dogs who scan the entire airport area. So somebody may say that
Also,
yeah,
Jay,
Shashi, yeah,
yeah, sorry to have missed last session, but also like night vision as an example, human is limited by night vision, whereas
yes,
uh, most of the other species have that sense. Also, the way
yes,
reptiles
dogs can.
have this vision, but they can do reading by the body heat, right? So the body heat is also a sense which we don't have as a human being of how to get the smell and get up to the
Yes. Excellent, excellent examples, Mr. Shashi. Thank you so much for sharing them. Yes, night vision. Animals do have night vision. Humans do not have, and similarly, the thermal kind of vision, right? Yeah. So even if we, let's say, create equipments and apparatus to capture what we cannot perceive, still, what is the problem there? So this is a Nobel Prize winning physicist Eugen Wigner. He points out that even if we do that, right, thousands of kilometers distant object, I can take a picture from a telescope or something. But then, see, he says, even if we photograph the stars, eventually we have to understand those photographs by our senses, and our senses are defective, okay, imperfect. And without using our senses, we cannot handle a camera, right, or a telescope or any kind of apparatus. So we have this limited capacity in which we can use those apparatus. So then still we cannot rely on our senses using the machinery also. Okay. Uh, so now our senses are imperfect. We have discussed that. So because of this imperfect senses, our senses get illusioned also many a times, right? Um, we taste orange after eating sugar. The orange will taste sour to us. If we taste orange after eating lemon, the same orange will taste sweeter to us. So what is happening? The tongue is getting illusioned, right? Similarly, there is an example on the slide for skin. You take 3 kinds of water: hot water, normal water, and cold water. So after if I put my hand in the cold water, after that I put my hand in the normal water will feel warm to me. But if do the opposite, I put my I'm sorry, um, hot water and then normal water, the normal water will feel cold to me. But if I use the cold water first and then I use a normal water, then it'll feel warm to me, right? So our skin is getting illusioned. Similarly, we can see for other senses. For example, let's say in the evening we are going for a after dinner. Generally, people go out for a walk. So if I'm going for a walk on the street, I see a snake is there on the street, right? But there's a limited light in the evening, in the night, and I see a snake, right? And I get afraid immediately. But um, if I go closer, then understand that, oh, it's not a snake, it is a rope, right? The rope, I get illusioned, and a rope looks as a snake to me. But this is okay, right? Considering a rope a snake, it's still safe. But what if there is a real snake and I think that it is a rope and I step over it? What will happen? It will bite me, right? It may result into a hazardous accident. So uh, our senses get illusioned because they are defective, and because of the illusion, I may get into problems. Okay. So now I will show some photographs. I'll request you to focus on one of these photographs and tell me what do you see. So for example, we had taken the figure 1 in the last time. So we'll not go to figure 1. Let's figure 3. Let's see this figure 3, bottom left corner. Can anyone tell me what do you see?
One male and one female.
Jay, it's a singer with a guitar, and a person besides the singer. I think I'm not able to understand the gender.
Okay.
With some perfume. Also, a lady waiting at the door.
Okay. Great.
That's the second thing that I can see.
Yeah. Great. Thank you, Shashi. Somebody said uh, one man and one woman. Who was that?
One woman and one man.
Yeah, Sharad Prasad.
Talking.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Same
So
was-
yeah. So you see in the picture one old woman and one old man. They are facing each other, right? Like that. So so this is a picture made in this particular way, and the both things are true actually. What Shashi said, that is true. If you focus on, so can you see my pointer, my mouse pointer on the screen? Yes, no?
Yes, yes.
Yes. Okay. Thanks. So if you focus here, right, in this area, this is a person who is sitting here. Okay. You see this person sitting here. Just focus on this area. And then this is second person who is playing the guitar here. Okay. I'm so for those people who are seeing an old man and old woman, please focus on this area. You will see two people sitting in front of each other and they're singing. And there is this one lady which is coming out. Now the people who are not able to see the old man and old woman, right? you focus on the outer image. So this is a head and these are white hair. Okay, and this is the forehead and this is the nose and this is the mouth, like that. And similarly for the old man, this is the nose and this is the ear. So this lady is coming out of the ear of the old man. Okay, so now this is just an example to show you how our eyes may get illusioned. It is the same picture, two people are looking at it and they are seeing two different things. Okay, let's move ahead. Do you see that your screen has started waving, moving?
Yes, Jay.
Yes, but actually nothing is moving. It is appearing to us as moving, but actually nothing is moving. Okay, what a nice illusion, right? Okay, next. Believe it or not, these guys are all the same height. Okay, these are some uh, lines drawn in a particular way, and it is giving me illusion that these three guys are of different height, but they are of the same height. Okay, another illusion. Now here on this image, if you focus on the dot in the center here, right, and you move your head closer to the screen and then away from the screen, then closer, then away, you will feel like the circles have started moving. Can somebody try that and confirm?
Yeah, it happened, Jay.
Yeah, it is happening. Okay, but actually nothing is moving on the screen, right? Our senses are getting, our eyes are getting illusioned. Okay, again, different picture. Uh, if you focus on one flower here, you will feel that the other flowers have started moving. But when you focus on the moving flower, that will stop and the other flowers will start moving. Okay, do you feel that? So these are some examples which I wanted to show that we cannot always believe on our eyes or senses because our senses are defective and they get illusioned. Okay, now I'll skip some pictures here. Now, what happens when we rely too much on our senses? What happens? We commit mistakes, some mistakes, right? Simple mistakes we just discussed, and because we if we rely too much on our senses in our scientific discoveries also, we can it is very easy to make mistakes in scientific discoveries as well. Okay, for example, uh, some 100 years ago, brain was thought of as an organ to cool the blood. Okay, these are examples which I have on the slide. Okay, the way we have the car, right? In the car we have the radiator. So radiator, uh, uh, it cools the engine, right? The coolant is there, we put water there just to cool down the engine. So actually scientists, medical scientists had discovered that the brain, the blood flows to the brain and the brain cools it down, and then the cooler blood comes down to the body again. So brain was thought to be as a radiator kind of a thing. Okay, what a great mistake in the scientific discovery. Another example is the pituitary gland in our body. There is a gland which is called pituitary gland. Okay, it was considered by the doctors and the scientists as a vestige organ. What is a vestige organ? The organ which is of no use in the body, which is just it's a waste. It's just like an appendix, right? So after some uh, decades of research, the scientists found out that no, pituitary gland is actually not a vestige organ. It is the most important organ of the body. Why? Because all of our emotions, right? Anger, um, happiness, sadness, anxiety, all these kinds of different emotions. Okay, love, friendship, animosity, these kind of for all of these kinds of emotions, this particular gland actually secretes some hormones in the body, and when we have these kind of feelings, these kind of emotions. Okay, so then they named this pituitary gland master gland. Earlier they called it a vestige organ, but now this pituitary gland is known as master gland, as it is the most important gland in the body. Okay, There is another example which is called Hubble constant. Now, Hubble constant, this is a constant which is used in the space science to measure the distance between two objects, okay, two space objects. So in last 50 years of research, the value of Hubble constant has changed 3 times. Earlier they had one value, then some more, a lot of things happened around that, those equations, and then they found, oh no, this is not the right value. Second time they gave some value, that was also wrong. So third time they gave some value. So some scientists jokingly said that this is not a Hubble constant, this is Hubble variable. Okay, so small mistakes can lead to large disasters. Do you have any examples from your side to share on this? Incorrect results from research? Then move ahead. Okay, so let me go ahead in the presentation. So this is a very big fraud conspiracy which I am going to discuss here. Okay, another great mistake, great cheating which happened in the name of science, which we discussed that, see, our senses, they are defective, they get illusioned, and because of the illusioned senses we commit mistakes. When we commit mistakes, we try to hide those mistakes. Now before I discuss the subject on this slide, um, this cheating propensity is in every one of us. Okay, when I'm going on the highway, or I'm going on the road, I'm driving very fast and I jump the red signal. Okay, and after the signal there is traffic policeman, he catches me, I stop there. What is the first reaction I give to the traffic policeman? I always
I
say
did
that,
not see the. Sorry, Guruji.
exactly. No, go ahead
Yeah,
Vishal.
exactly.
Yeah,
I mean to say that I did not see the signal. It is red.
yeah, I did. We always say that we did not see the signal. It may happen for some of us that we generally did not see the signal, but generally that is not true, right? We see the signal, but we want to move fast. The signal is yellow, and I think that, okay, I can just cross still, and it becomes red before I cross. So cheating propensity, right? Um, Sometimes what happens in the home, uh, our spouses are cooking, mothers are cooking like that, right? And sometimes there is the quantity of salt in the sabji, it becomes more than what is required. Okay, and the the preparation is not tasting good. When we give this feedback, what is the first response which comes from the spouse? Okay, generally the response is, oh no, I had only put this much salt. Right? So we commit mistakes, but we want to hide those mistakes. We delay the payments of bills. Yeah, Sharad, you want to speak something?
Carry on, Prabhuji.
Okay.
I could see that anthropologic picture, hai na? That I saw.
Okay.
So you have not
Yeah.
come to that point already. Okay, no problem.
Yes. So no, I'm discussing that this cheating propensity is in all of us. We commit mistakes. We do not
You are
want to.
giving some other examples. Sorry to disturb you.
Yeah, no
Sorry
problem.
to disturb you. You are giving some more examples. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. So we do not want to accept those mistakes. Okay, so that is about us in general, human beings. Now, what about scientists? Big scientists. They are making big discoveries. A lot of things are depending on them. They are taking billions of dollars of grants from governments, from taxpayers. But what happens? They commit mistakes, and they also try to hide those mistakes. Okay, so this is a very big cheating which has happened, and I'm going to discuss that right now. See, the what is the theory of evolution? The Darwin's theory of evolution, which we've all studied in our textbooks, it says that man has evolved from monkeys. Woman has also evolved from monkeys. Okay, so human beings, they evolved from monkeys. That is called theory of evolution. Similarly, Darwin has given some theories about the other species also. This is how giraffe has been made, and this is how whale had come about, and the other species like that. Okay, so now um, when if man has or human being has evolved from monkeys, so that means according to theory of evolution, there is a monkey. Now please listen to this carefully. Okay, this is going to shatter a lot of our conceptions which we have studied so far. Okay, so there is a man, and there is a monkey, and monkey is getting evolved into a man over millions of years. Okay, so how the evolution will happen? Evolution will happen over generations, over many years, right? So the monkey is there, let's say the 100% it is monkey. Now the monkey will evolve into 10% human being, 90% monkey, then 20% human being, 80% monkey, then 30% human, 70% monkey, then 40-60, then 50-50, then 60-40, 70-30, like that it'll become one day 90% human being, 10% monkey, and then ultimately it'll become 100% human being. Correct? This is how gradually evolution has to happen over many years. Okay, that is what theory of evolution says about other species also. The gradual evolution of species by natural selection and by the survival of the fittest. Now, scientists so far till 1912th century. So Darwin had given this theory of evolution in somewhere around 1850, some around that time. Okay, he had written this theory called Origin of Species. Till 19th century, 1912, scientists could not figure out this kind of a link between a monkey and a human being. So if the human being has evolved from monkey, somewhere we should find some species, some fossils in the earth which say that, yeah, this particular fossil is 70% monkey and 30% human being, or some percentage, right? Some evolution has happened in that fossil that should be visible, but that was not found. Okay, in 1912, so this particular kind of thing is called connecting link. Okay, between a monkey and a human being, there is a connecting link which is required to prove the theory of evolution. Okay, in 1912, scientists actually found that yes, there is a connecting link. The scientists have found one particular skull. This on the skull, actually the head was monkey head, and the jaw was a human jaw. Okay, the jaw which was resembling a human jaw. In 1953, so and in 1912, it was placed into the British Museum as a evidence to theory of evolution. After 50 years, some college graduates, they requested to the museum that, okay, we want to do further research on it. It has been there on the in the museum 50 years. Now we want to study more on this fossil, on this skull. Okay, so please give us. So museum gave this skull to the students. On the first day when they got the skull, they got it on the experimentation table. Immediately they rejected this skull, saying that this connecting link is made up. Okay, this is not the actual fossil. Somebody has taken the skull and monkey skull, and they have filed the jaw portion. Okay, they have done the filing here. उनको उसको वहां से घिसा गया है skull को, jaw को, to make it look like a human jaw. Okay, so 1953, this one connecting link which scientists had found out in theory of evolution, uh, that was also rejected. So now up to this time, now 2020, year 2020, till now there is no connecting link which scientists have found out to support this theory of evolution. Okay, so scientists here in this particular case, we see that um, they have cheated, they have tried to cheat. Okay, and this is very famous. You can go to Google, you can find out this, just search this the Piltdown Man. Okay, and you will find this entire conspiracy there. Okay, let's move ahead. So far what we discussed was Pratyaksh Praman. Okay, knowledge, perceiving knowledge from direct sense perception. Okay, and that has its problems. Okay, so if I cannot use these senses to gain knowledge from of this world, then what to speak of God, what to speak of self-realization, what to speak of spirituality, right? We cannot rely on our senses. So now we are getting to the second way of gaining knowledge in this world, that is called Anuman Praman. Okay, what is the Anuman means guesswork, speculation. Okay, so for example, um, anyone in the group who is from the um, software profession?
I am there. Jay.
Okay, Mr. Shashi. So Shashi, how do we do project planning?
By scope.
By scope. We try to find out what are the features to be delivered. We scope them out, and what are the resources we have, right?
Right.
All
Right.
these things we should try to figure out, and then we do a estimation, right?
Right.
So, but estimation is actually guesswork only based on some data, but ultimately we do guesswork, right?
Yeah.
So this kind of planning comes into Anuman Praman. Is it useful? Yes, it is useful. We gain knowledge with the help of the Anuman Praman, with the help of the guesswork. I am able to give some deadlines to the team. I am able to give some release date to the customer and the organization, right? I am able to do these things. So I am gaining knowledge out of the guesswork. Similarly, is anyone else can give another example? A very big industry is there which is working on purely speculation.
Investment.
Yes, exactly. Investments. Thank you, Shashi. Again, very nice example. The entire this London Stock Exchange, Bombay Stock Exchange, right? All the stock markets, every kind of investment. These are called speculative investment, speculative income, right? This works on this works on the guess speculation. Okay. Now the thing is, can speculation give me perfect knowledge in this world? Hmm? That is questionable. I may not be able to get perfect knowledge from the speculation. Huh? My speculation may be right sometimes, but it may be wrong the other times. Hmm? And now these theories which have been given, right? In the first session, we discussed about theory of creation, theory of the Big Bang theory, the chance theory of how the universe has come about. Scientists have given some theories, and this Darwin's theory of evolution, that itself, these theories are based on speculation. Okay, these are guesswork. Hmm? For example, let's say I'm again I'm going for an evening walk, and from one particular house, I hear these noise which is coming out of this house. कि मैं तुम्हें जान से मार डालूंगा, I will kill you, you are such a bad person, I cannot tolerate this, I will kill you, like that. I hear some shouting, and I get afraid. Oh, maybe there is some fight is happening in this home, and somebody is about to kill the other person. So let me call the police, let me save somebody's life here. I call the police comes, they knock on the door, and later they find out that, oh, there is no problem. There are two people in this house, they are practicing, they are doing a rehearsal of a drama which they are about to showcase after some time. So so what will happen in this case? Police will catch me and then put me into the jail for giving wrong information, right? So speculation, it works, but it may not work always. All these theories are speculative theories because every theory has these kind of words. It may have been like this, or perhaps it was like this. I think this would have happened, then that would have happened. And Darwin's theory of evolution is a perfect example of that. Now, again, coming back here, the finding the fossils from the earth. This theory of man coming from monkeys has been rejected by many scientists. Now this is very unfortunate that in India, the in the science syllabus, this is still there. This theory is being taught by in the schools, and there is no alternative theory which is being discussed. We are supposed to believe this theory as if it has happened 100%, as if it was universally accepted theory, but that is not true. So many scientists have rejected this theory. Okay, and one particular reason for this is record of the rocks. Hmm? So paleontology is a branch of science which digs the earth and studies the fossils. Okay, scientists have dug to the lowest strata of the earth. Hmm? Up to 2 million years below they have gone. They have not found a single connecting link. They have always found monkeys and humans, they are existing together. Okay. Before 2 million years, that means the monkeys fossils have been found and the human fossils have also been found. And similarly, 40,000 years, 100,000 years, at every strata of the earth, both monkeys and human beings have been found. So theory of evolution has been losing its credits in the scientific world. Okay. So see, in this origin of species, right? Before when he wrote this book, Darwin wrote this book. He wrote a letter to his contemporary Dr. A.R. Wallace. Okay, this date is given December 22, 1857. Hmm? Can somebody read this from the slide? Is becoming monotonous. I am only speaking. I request one of the participants to read this paragraph from the slide.
I can read it for you.
Yeah,
Jack.
thank you, Shashi. Yeah.
I am a firm believer that without speculation, there is no good and original observation. After 5 years' work, I allowed myself to speculate on the subject and drew up some short notes. These I enlarged in 1844 into a sketch of conclusions which seemed to me probable origin of species.
See, so he is declaring it that without I think the speculation is the only way to figure out that what would have happened, how the species have been created, how the universe has come about. So I am the firm believer that the speculation is the only way. And he says that after 5 years work, I allowed myself to speculate. So he is referring to some work. Now, what is the work? What is the work he has done here? This letter is being written in 1857. So 5 years before this is 1852, right? Now, 1852, what work he conducted? He was given some criminals to assist him. He wanted to go to the island of Madagascar, and the this Madagascar island, Africa, right? He collected. So he went to the jungle. He collected lot of fossils. He went in a big boat. He collected a lot of fossils, and the ones he could not collect because of the size and all, he drew sketches. There were no cameras at that time. Okay, 1850s, there were no cameras, so he drew some sketches. He collected some fossils of animals, and without digging or anything, whatever he found in the jungle he took, and he returned to the London. Okay, and then he has put everything on the table, and then he's thinking, okay, now what has happened? So this fossil is looking like this, and then this is looking like this, so these are looking similar. So it may happen that some years later this particular animal may develop into this animal. Like that, he kind of speculated. This is the work he has performed, and after that work, in 5 years, he is saying that I concluded that uh, and he gave the theory of evolution. Okay, now as per Darwin, how blue whale has come about? He says that we see in the North America, polar bear catches flies. Okay, uh, polar bear eats flies. So it wants to catch more and more flies, and slowly it progresses towards the sea, and if the flies are constant and the flies are the number of flies is shrinking, then it may have to go to the sea area and catch more flies or some fishes, and then slowly it enters in the water, and it opens its mouth bigger and bigger and bigger, and over so many years this bear can become a whale. Now how many of you can believe that a whale kind of a creature can come from a bear? Hmm? So this is kind of speculation which is being presented in his notes and books. Similarly, what does he say? How giraffe has come about?
So Jay, Shashi here.
Yeah, Shashi.
So actually, we are limited by our ability to validate what has been told to us over the generations, right?
Yes, yes.
So uh, maybe it's very easy to get carried away
Yeah,
by fact versus illusion.
yes,
And if you are told uh, uh, um, a non-factual data also very factually with a credible format,
yes,
you start believing it, and that is what, forget this Darwin theory, but that is what is the advantage which even digital media and all these social apps are taking. So it's
yes.
very difficult to say that what is right versus what is wrong, and do you
Very
have
true.
so much bandwidth and time to go and validate every theory?
Yes. So if you don't mind, I'll come back to you. Okay,
Okay.
after this. This is exactly what we are talking about, and we will conclude with the answer to this question. Okay, today. Okay. So in the interest of time, I'll move ahead, and everyone has studied in the books, right? How giraffe has been. I mean, what Darwin proposes. This giraffe did not have long leg earlier, and when some drought was there, and he did not have anything to eat, so he approaches the trees, and the trees are getting higher and higher, so he moves his neck higher and higher, and like that he gets a long neck. Okay. So these are the theories which are being presented now. um, Science, this is one particular example of Darwin's theory. There are so many other examples, and I'll just quote a couple of them, and then we'll move ahead very fast. Uh, Earlier, plastic bottles were considered to be very convenient, because they were light and they were sturdy, like that. But today we find that they are hazardous to health. Okay. The chemical plastic mixes with the water and it causes a lot of diseases. So these are other kinds of mistakes which have been committed in the scientific discoveries. Hmm. The another example, mobiles, right? They have been given to us as convenience and you know uh, quick communication, etc. But all these frequency waves and these they're the smartphones are causing so many diseases now. Frequencies are one thing, mobile radiations, another thing is insomnias, and because of the screen time and the so many other problems we are getting. Mm. So I'll skip. Similarly, there are other examples. I would request you to think your examples and put on the chat if you have um, some more examples to share. Okay. Now, the conclusion so far is that we cannot perceive the full knowledge of this world by our senses and by the guesswork alone. And both of them have problem. Now, third way of gaining knowledge is the Shabda Praman. Okay, Shabda Praman means I hear from a bona fide authority. Okay, what is that way? So that way is that, let's say I have to study some subject. Okay, what do I do? I want to get an engineering degree. Hmm? To get an engineering degree, what do I have to do? I get enrolled in an engineering college. Okay, I choose a subject, what kind of computer engineering or I don't know, mechanical engineering and so on. And then there are teachers who teach the subject. They are bona fide. They have undergone the training. They have studied the subject for so long. They themselves have degrees, and they teach, and then this is how I hear from them, and then I learn, and that is how I become an engineer. Similarly for other kinds of knowledge. Hmm? So the knowledge, so Bhagavad Gita, okay, it's 4th chapter, 2nd verse. Okay, in the device first topic we discussed 7.7. Okay, this is Bhagavad Gita verse in the second topic, how do I see God, 4.2, 4th chapter, 2nd verse. It says, Evam parampara praptam imam rajarishyo viduhu sa kalene mehta yogo nashta parantapa. Hmm? That but any kind of knowledge, it is very easy to obtain, and the foolproof method to obtain is hearing from a bona fide authority. That is called Shabda Praman. I don't have to figure out everything myself. Okay. Uh, if a person who is the master of the subject, he teaches me and I learn. And from his experience, I can learn and I derive the knowledge. That is called Shabda Praman. So now, from our childhood to so far, no, especially children you see in the home, they keep asking, what is this, what is this, and the mothers and fathers, like parents, grandparents, whoever are there around the children, teachers in their schools, they keep on telling, oh, this is sun, this is a moon, or this is a bulb, this is a glass, this is water, this is this color, this is that color. Most of the times in our life we are relying on this particular way of learning. Okay, 95%, 98% of the times we are depending on this, but we don't realize this. Okay. Um, so this is the foolproof method of learning. Okay. Now, if you see that when I see the sun today, sun looks to me as a very small disk. Okay. Small bulb like thing in the sky. But then when somebody explains me, a person, a teacher explains, parents explain, no, sun is a very big object and it is fiery, it is giving so much energy. Like that, if I explain to a child, and about moon, sun, like that, then he will understand, oh yeah, it is looking like a small thing, but actually it's a big object. Hmm? So one who knows can explain the subject very perfectly. Okay. How can a child know that who is his father? Hmm? So if we want to go a very, very scientific way, inductive knowledge, then a medical test has to be performed, a DNA test has to be performed for all the probable male adults in the on the time of a child's birth, and so many tests for all the adult population. It may take more than 800 years to figure out. Hmm? What is the easiest way to gain knowledge about who is my father? The easiest way is ask the mother. Hmm? Uh, Mother knows who's my father. So this is called deductive knowledge. Okay. Similarly, Vedas say that God is our father, and Vedas are our mother. Hmm? So who is God? Where is God? How to approach God? How to understand self? All these things we have to figure out. But what do we do? We can go to the Vedas. We can ask this question, and the Vedas will direct me perfectly with perfect knowledge. Okay. This is called Shabda Praman. So Shabda Praman constitutes. Give me a minute. There is some noise. I'll. Yeah. So Shabda Praman constitutes three things. Okay. One is the bona fide professors. Okay. The people who have learned the subject perfectly. Hmm? Second thing is called an authorized college or institute. Okay, which is approved. Which is approved by the, let's say if engineering college there, that the engineering college have to be approved by AICTE, All India Council for Technical Education. For similarly, some approvals are required for medical colleges and others, right? And then third thing which is required is a textbook. Okay. So in this world also, any kind of knowledge we receive, we need these three things: the teachers, the university, and the authorized books. I cannot do away with any one of these. Okay, can I gain perfect knowledge without books? I can go to the college and there are teachers, but can I do away with the books? No, I cannot. Right? I need the books also. University recommends me the books to study. Hmm? Can I get the books and I get the tuition? I get the teacher and or a professor on a tuition, and I don't enroll into the college. Can I get a medical degree by that? No, I cannot. Right? So what do? We have to enroll into a university, into a college. I go to the college, I read the books. Can I do away with the professors? Without the teacher, I can study? No, I need the teachers also who can explain the subject, and very easily I can understand. So similarly, spiritual knowledge, it's actually spiritual science. In the spiritual science also, these three things are required. Professors, teachers are called spiritual masters, gurus, okay, and the authorized books are called the scriptures, the Bhagavad Gita or Bible, Quran, Guru Granth Sahib, all these kind of scriptures are there. Hmm? And the third thing is the college. Now, what is a college? That is a very, very important thing to understand here. In the spiritual science, what is a college we are talking about? Hmm? So the see, when God gives knowledge, He gives to one of His representatives, one of His. So, for example, Jesus, when He came to this world, He said that I am Son of God. God has given me knowledge, and I am giving to you further. Hmm? Pagambar Muhammad had claimed that I am the Pagambar. He's named as Pagambar. Pagambar means messenger, right? He said that Allah gave me knowledge. I am the messenger, and I am giving this knowledge to you. Okay. So in the Sanatan, this Vedic literature also, the Vedas have been received in the parampara, in the disciplic succession. Okay, God gives knowledge to one person, that person becomes guru, he gives to second person, third person, like that in a row. And this is a parampara which keeps on flowing. And this is called the university. This is called the um, college in which the spiritual knowledge has to be received. Okay, so far we have discussed three kinds of gaining knowledge in this world. One is Pratyaksh Praman, direct sense perception. Second is Anuman Praman, that is speculation. Third is Shabda Praman, that is hearing from a bona fide authority. Why it is called Shabda? Shabda means sound. Okay. So, uh, and in the if you see the history of ancient India, how the studies would have happened was there were gurukulas in every village. Children used to go to the gurukulas. The gurus were there, the teachers were there. They used to teach them. And what did they teach them? They taught them the Vedas, the Vedic literature. So the textbooks were there, the Vedic literature. The gurus, they were coming from the parampara. Okay, they were bona fide, means they had the degrees. For example, a person who does not have a degree in physics cannot teach physics, cannot take physics students, right? Similarly, these gurus had degrees, they were known in their fields, and then they gave they explained these books to these students. Okay, so on the slide what you say is the entire tree of the Vedic literature. Vedic literature is very, very vast. Okay, I'm not going to detail into this one until or unless you want to go into the details. But this is just for your information. There are a lot of sections of the Vedic literature, and the Vedic literature talks about very, very um, uh, so many scientific discoveries, so many predictions, and so many ways of living this particular life very nice way. Okay, how to know about self, how to know about God, how to live peacefully in this world. Okay, the art of doing work in this world, all these things have been explained by the Vedas. There is astrology, there is astronomy, there is niti shastra, there is nyaya shastra. So many things are uh, given. Now, any questions so far? And Shashi also, if I have not answered your question, I can take that right now.
So Judge, it was quite informative and
Yeah.
thought-provoking, But the challenge is to get this entire understanding around the Vedic piece in the model of a preacher and disciple,
Yeah.
where to look forward, that who is giving you the right source of information, because half-baked knowledge is most dangerous, whether it is Vedic or conventional education.
Yes.
So point is either self-learning, and we are limited by capability to read and understand. And if you
Yes.
have to depend on someone to be taught, then which is the right source, and is that source credible and authentic, remains
Yes.
a very big challenge. And that's where we are also limited to pass on this knowledge into our generation. So what would be your advice there,
Yes.
practically in a human working life of 20 to 60, which is 40 years time? How do you get the essence of these things to be able to cultivate for self and for your family?
Yes. This is an excellent question. And to answer this, I'm going to project a slide. Okay, a specific slide which is meant to answer this question, that how to um, wh- uh, where to get this bona fide way of gaining knowledge. Okay. Second, and that is the last part of the presentation. Anyway, okay. So what you see on the slide is the 4 authentic, authorized, bona fide universities to gain spiritual knowledge. Okay. Now, when God gave knowledge in the, so this is also mentioned in the Vedic literature itself. Okay, in the Garga Samhita, this is mentioned that God gave knowledge to these 4 personalities. What are the 4 personalities? Lakshmi ji, Brahma ji, Shiv ji, and in the rightmost picture on the top, you see 4 children here. So these are 4 sons of Lord Brahma. The names are Sanak, Sanatan, Sanat, Sanandan. Chatush Kumar. They are also called as Chatush Kumar. Okay. So these 4 personalities gained knowledge from God, and then these 4 personalities gave this knowledge further down. Okay, this full chain. Hmm? So Mother Lakshmi, she gave knowledge to his disciples and so on. And later in this particular university, Sampradaya, Ramanujacharya appeared. So this is one of the prominent acharyas in this Sampradaya, Ramanujacharya. Similar, so this is called as Sri Sampradaya. Hmm? Now the second is Brahma Sampradaya. The knowledge which is coming from Brahma and down is called Brahma Sampradaya. The last prominent acharya is Madhvacharya in this Sampradaya. Then there is from Shivji, this Sampradaya, this university is called Rudra Sampradaya. And the last known acharya is Vishnu Swami. Last known prominent acharya. These gurus and acharyas are still there in the chain. These are prominent acharyas which are mentioned on the slide. And the Chatush Kumara, uh, from this chain, this sampradaya known as Kumara Sampradaya. Okay. Now, where is Sri Sampradaya? The most of the South India temples you see, Anand Padmanabh Temple, Tirupati Balaji Temple, uh, so many other Meenakshi Temple, or so many other famous temples in South India, mostly Rameshwaram. All these are coming under Sri Sampradaya. Okay, this is the perfect disciplic chain in which the knowledge is getting passed down by one generation to the another. This is called Sri Sampradaya. Okay. Uh, there are, so then Brahma Sampradaya. Now mostly it is in the Bengal region. There are a lot of Gaudiya Mathas. They are following this coming to the Brahma Sampradaya chain. In the Karnataka, there's a place named Udupi. In the Udupi, this Udupi place is known for a very, very old Krishna temple, around 1,000 years old Krishna temple. It's called Udupi Krishna Math. That was established by Madhvacharya. This is coming under Brahma Sampradaya. Okay. Then there is Rudra Sampradaya. This is mostly lost now. We don't find many traces of it, but we still find some bona fide people practicing under Rudra Sampradaya around Varanasi area in Banaras in UP. Kumar Sampradaya. There's only one place this Sampradaya is limited to now, which is Nathdwara in Rajasthan. Okay. If you have heard of Srinathji temple, it's very old temple, Srinathji, Nathdwara. There this is under Kumar Sampradaya's care. Okay. Now when I have to receive, when I want to receive spiritual knowledge, or somebody is giving me spiritual knowledge, what is the question I should ask this person who is giving me the knowledge? Can somebody tell me?
Are they affiliated to one of these?
Exactly. Very right. Which affiliation are you carrying? Which is the sampradaya you belong to? Tell us that. If you are belonging to one of these 4 sampradayas, yes, the knowledge will be uh, perfect. Okay, without any misinterpretation, without any changes. Okay, without any self ulterior motives. Then I get the perfect knowledge. Okay, and if the person is not getting into one of these paramparas, then the knowledge is not effective. For example, if I want to receive electricity in my house, if I want to put a socket on the wall and I want to light up a bulb, okay, so I can create a hole, I can put a switch box there, and I can put a bulb, but will the bulb glow? No, the switch has to connect to the the line, the electrical line. Okay, then the main switch will be there in the home. So the switch box, the switch has to connect to the main switch in the home. The main switch has to connect to the maybe my building, the electricity box. Okay, that electricity box has to connect to the MSEB electricity pole. Okay, that MSEB electricity pole has to be connected to the transformer. The transformer has to get connected to the powerhouse. Like that, the entire chain is required to get the current flow in my house. Anywhere the wire is cut, anywhere in this entire path, anywhere the wire is cut, will I get the electricity? No, I cannot get the electricity. Similarly, I cannot get the spiritual knowledge anywhere this current, this path is cut, because the knowledge will not flow. I need to get enrolled into an engineering college to get an engineering degree. No matter what I do otherwise, I cannot get a degree. Okay, I will not get a job. Even I can mug up, I can study the engineering books on my own. I will not get the degree, I will not get the job on the basis of that knowledge. Okay, so it's very, 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 very important. Now I'll share a last example. Okay, and I want some participation for this other than Mr. Shashi. Okay, let's see others, they have been hearing or not. Let's say in the summer season, have you bought mangoes yourself? Any one of you? When you purchase a mango, how do you decide, how do you see that this mango is good? How do you judge? I want to hear from somebody.
Based on its color and the smell.
Okay, Vishal, I could not hear you properly, but I think you said we smell the mango, right? Yeah. Okay, so we smell the mango. Anything else? Only by smell will you take the mango? Many good mangoes do not smell, like Kesar mango. Yeah, somebody
Color and
else.
smell.
Your Vishal, I think your network is not so well. I'm not able to hear you. Somebody else on the group. How do you?
Color and the condition of the mango.
Yeah, very good, Manohar. Color and the condition of the mango. So I smell the mango. That means I use my nose. Okay, one sense I used. Then I see the color. That means I use my eyes also to purchase the mango. Somebody else also. What else do you do to get a good mango? We also do a lot of other things. We touch the mango. We by the touch we try to see. अच्छा है कि नहीं है ना? The color, touch, nose, and sometimes, or most of the times, the mango vendor actually cuts the mango and gives me, taste करके देखिए आप, है ना? होता है ऐसा? So we taste the mango. So I use my tongue also for that, right? And then still, my friend sometimes recommends, oh, I got those mangoes from that vendor and those are very good, so you can take from them. I use my so I'm using all my 5 senses to purchase a good quality mango from the market, isn't it? All the 5 senses I'm using to get a good mango from the market. But when it comes to get the knowledge to gain the knowledge about God, what do I say? Show me God. I want to rely on my only one sense, only my eyes I want to rely on, and I say that until you show me God, I will not believe in God. Isn't it unfair? Is God, is God, knowledge about God should be more expensive than mango or cheaper than the mango? Huh? Just to get 200 rupees dozen Alfonso mango, good Alfonso mango, I'm using so many senses. I'm so serious about it. I go to places, I put so much effort to get good mangoes. But when it comes to the knowledge of God, I go to any person in this world. Some person has grown a big beard and he wants to speak about God. I don't check his credentials. I hear from them, from this person. Some person is able to show me some magic, right? There are so many people in India doing some magic, spiritual magics, or there is nothing spiritual in the magic actually. They do some magic tricks, and people start following them. Oh, this is such a great person. He is God only, like that. So that is very, very dangerous. Okay, how do I see God? And we discussed the last time, we need to get the qualification to see God. We need to get the qualification to understand God. And the qualification will be given by one of these sampradayas, one of these universities. Okay, I need the teacher, I need the university, I need the textbook. By using these three things, I gain the qualification. And when I get the qualification, I will be able to see God. Many saints in India, they have seen God with their eyes. There is no problem because they gained the qualification. So what is the right question to ask? Show me God is the right question, or how do I get the qualification to see God is the right question? Anyone on the forum?
How do I get a qualification to see the God?
Yes, how do I get the qualification? And the Shabda Brahman is going to give me the qualification. Okay, the right bona fide authority teacher, the scriptures, and the teacher, and the scripture and the university. The university means the backing of the teacher, where he has gained his degree from. Okay, so next time when you hear from somebody, you have to ask this question, and you need to ask this question to me as well, right? Because now here we are talking to discover yourself, we are talking about God. So you have all the rights to ask me that what are my credentials, which sampradaya I belong to. Do you have such a question?
Yeah. That's I was hesitant to ask, but that's a good one to know.
Yeah, thank you. So yes, so I am, but the knowledge which I am sharing, I have received this knowledge from the Brahma Sampradaya. Okay, this Brahma Sampradaya. So when the Sampradaya is coming down, a lot of acharyas come and the Sampradaya expands. Okay, so the last prominent acharya was Madhvacharya. Madhvacharya came around 800 years ago. I told you, right? Udupi Krishna Math was established by him. You can do Google around it. Then 500 years ago, there was a personality known as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Okay, he came. He was born in Bengal, and he was another prominent acharya. He came in the Sampradaya, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the Bengal. In Bengal, so many people know him. Similarly, in the Sri Sampradaya, you go to any temple in the South India, you always find Ramanujacharya's small deity. You will find in front of the Lord Vishnu, Lord Narayan, Lord Ranganath, in front of the Lord's deity, small deity of Ramanujacharya will always be there as a guru. Okay, so we are coming from Brahma Sampradaya, and especially in Brahma Sampradaya, I got connected with ISKCON. Okay, I am getting this knowledge from ISKCON. ISKCON comes under Brahma Sampradaya chain, so that is how we are receiving this knowledge. More on this in the coming week. Next week is Diwali. I think most of us will be busy, so we will not have the meeting. The week after next, Sunday, 5 p.m. again we will meet, and we are going to discuss very profound knowledge of the Vedas. Okay, and this is going to be very thought provoking to you. If the discover yourself so far 3 sessions have given, have been interesting to you, I am telling you this is only 20%. This is only tip of the iceberg. In the third topic of discover yourself, we are going to discuss Vedas, Vedic wisdom. Okay, what is there in the Vedas, how they're relevant to us, what are the predictions which are given in the Vedas, which are scientific. Okay, so many scientific discoveries, and what is the purpose and the goal of this universe, of the self, how do I understand, how do I put everything in perspective? This is going to come in the third session, third topic, when we meet next. Please attend that, do not miss that. This is the very, very important topic. Okay, and I am going to give you a question. You please contemplate on that question, and then when we meet next, you have to give the answer. Now the question is, what is the difference between animals and humans? Okay, you all have to collect your thoughts. Okay, consider it as a classroom. I am giving you some homework. Okay, you don't have to write, or you don't have to write an essay or something. You have to contemplate on this. What is the difference between an animal and a human? Any kind of animal. Okay, this entire animal kingdom, there are so many animals. What is the difference between the animal kingdom and the humans? Okay, this is the question. We will start from this in the coming week, and the answers will give you a lot of thrill and insight, and much more is coming. Okay, if there are no more questions, thank you very much for joining on a Sunday afternoon. It has been a great discussion today. I'm very satisfied, and I hope that you also have been able to learn some good things, and we will continue in the next week. About the various theories, the special theory of evolution, I'm going to give you some links, some videos on the group. Please keep watching them. Very interesting videos. I'll give you some links about forbidden archaeology. Some scientists, whatever claims we made today, they have been made by some scientists only. Okay, these are not our claim. Scientists have found out forbidden archaeology. There's a book which has been come out, Human Devolution. There's a scientist called Michael Cremo. He has written these books with these findings of Darwin's theory. So I'll send those links on the group. Okay, people have started leaving. So I'll close the session now. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. Very informative session.
Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Have a
Thank
nice
you.
evening. Bye.
So nice of you.
Thank you.
We'll see.
Have a nice Diwali. Very happy Diwali to everyone.
Happy
Thank you.
Deepavali to all. Yeah. Bye.
Nice evening. Bye.